Friday evening in Tampa Bay, the AFL on ESPN. The Sharks and the Storm, both with touchdowns on their opening drives. We're 5 minutes into our contest. And the College World Series is upcoming. 8 teams have made it to Omaha, Nebraska, and college baseball's Field of Dreams, where future stars have shined since 1950. Who brings the title home? Find out when the College World Series begins Saturday, 3 o'clock on ESPN. You see the matchups there, Virginia and Arkansas, Miami and Florida as well on Saturday, as Jacksonville kicks it off, and Kendrick Ings gets his second chance to pull one off the net and off one hop in his own end zone. Al Phillips gave him a block, and Ings out near the 20. A flag flies late. A return of 23 yards as we await word from our referee, Adam Savoie. Harvey got a handful of face masks. Let's see if we can spot it.
It's part of the role that Harvey has to fill as not being the number 3 receiver. There wasn't Scooter Berry on the tackle there apparently, but at the end, with the jostling back and forth, that one really could have gone either way.
Now, rookie Nick Addison not giving any ground. And Jason Boltis went 2 for 3 on his opening drive, threw a 30-yard touchdown toss to Julius Gregory. Same man here, just outside the 15. He's wrestled down by Terrence Smith. Gain of 6.
Now that one, while it's only a 6-yard gain, it does just serve to get you in a bit of rhythm on first down. You force the defensive back to tackle, and so Smith will be there. He's got to have zone eyes into the backfield, so it's a proper read from the quarterback, proper read from the defensive back. It's really a plus-plus. You know, neither player will be downgraded there because I like the read from Boltis. Smith comes up and makes the tackle like he should, but advantage offense because they continue in rhythm.
T.T. Tolliver, the high motion man, as Boltis drops, throws to the far side boards. Emery Sammons, the 6-year veteran. And the coaching staff told us that Sammons and Boltis have overcome a bit of a timing issue this week in practice, perhaps poised for their best connection of the season.
I mentioned T.T. Tolliver being a thing of beauty in high motion. This one has some brutality to it right here between he and Chris Smith. Smith did not allow him to get that free release from the line of scrimmage. As I spoke to Les Moss before the game, he said that's one of the reasons that they made the acquisition to bring Chris Smith in, because he can press the motion at such a high level.
They need just inches on 3rd down, and with the surge, Jason Boltis has it. Jamarcus Yoshi Hardrick is lining up with him as the fullback. We should mention that starting offensive lineman Alfred McCullough, who won a couple of national championships with Alabama, is out this week with an injury along the offensive front.
So Chris Jamison, who was a fullback for the team previously in the season, he's out of the lineup. They can still bring the MAC linebacker Dexter Jackson over to this side of the football to fill in at fullback in the running situations when they want to use that position to carry the football.
All 3 receivers to the right-hand side of the formation. Boltis has time to unleash, and a flag down. Terrence Smith had a handful of Emery Sammons' jersey. Looks like another will go against the Sharks secondary. Got a look at Lawrence Samuels there.
Terrence Smith, a guy who still had that Iron Man flavor to his AFL career. He's showing some patience there back in the secondary. But then as the receiver begins to engage him, starts to work up the wall, they end up flagging him. One of those things where that, I believe, was a bit of an aggressive call from the official, but I think if you're going to call it there, you need to call it that way both ways.
So it's 1st and goal, and on the slant, it's Gregory hanging on for his second. Terrence Smith did his best to rip it out as they went to the floor, but Tampa Bay grabs the lead.
We've seen teams attack Terrence Smith more and more as the field corner this season. Gregory able to elude him at the line of scrimmage, and there, the pedal wasn't the problem for Smith, but the fact that Gregory just with so much strength in the paint, able to power his way across into the end zone.
Touchdowns of 30 and now 4 yards. And the point after from Craig Peterson. Well, back in week 6, the Jacksonville defense started the game with a couple of stops, one on downs, one on a pick. They still lost. Here tonight, the Storm score on both of their opening drives. 6:34 left in our opening quarter. Tampa Bay with a touchdown lead. Jacksonville awaiting its second opportunity with the football. And for the latest news, scores, and stats, we invite you to log on to arenafootball.com. Whether you want to check out special features on the league's brightest stars or watch live games via the ESPN3 video player, arenafootball.com is where it's at. And while you're there, check out the nice story on Kendrick Ings, the rookie wide receiver and special teamer for the Tampa Bay Storm. Reading that in preparation for this week's game, the unusual route that he took to professional football. Greg Reed deep to receive, and he'll have a chance to take this one in the air. Former Florida State Seminole trapped inside his own 5, and now retreating into his end zone, manages to get it back to the 1.
Just barely.
Emery Salmons there on the tackle.
It's one thing if he never leaves the end zone. You get tackled in there, it wouldn't be a safety. He advances out of the end zone and then retreats back into it. You know that his head coach, Les Moss, is upstairs on the headset communicating down to the field saying, tell Greg Reed to never, ever do that again.
Okay, no Larachi Jackson this week. That's normally his role for the Jacksonville Sharks. See Brian Ferguson there, the assistant head coach, handling things down on the field with Les Moss upstairs with us. Brady backed up. He completed 3 of his first 4 throws. And going for it all here. Behind the defense, Joe Hills had a look at it. Tim Shelley running with him step for step.
Let's get Randy Gatewood involved here because we've got on the field 2 of the receivers that I love to watch in high motion. You see this narrow miss on the deep ball from Jacksonville. But Randy, you're a Hall of Famer. You ran a lot of high motion in your day. Tiger Jones and T.T. Tolliver do it as well as anyone. Are they 2 of your favorites to watch in high motion?
Absolutely. As I watch Tiger, as he comes back, he does telegraph it a little bit, but he presents a lot of problems for the guys. It's almost like he's guessing that he's going to go post every time. So look for him to go corner. It looks like he's got Hills wide open right now.
Yeah, Hills didn't miss this one as he goes to work on Al Phillips. A big pickup on 2nd down.
But Anthony, to answer your question, yes, those guys present such a problem in high motion because of the change of speed. A lot of them, they like to stutter or start off slow, and then they accelerate just as good as a few other guys in this league. So they're presenting a lot of problems. Look for Tiger right now, especially inside the red zone. Look for him to be the guy that Grady's probably going to go to.
That physical mismatch, the size there. Joe Hills coming from a stationary position on that snap, able to still outfight Al Phillips getting to the football. Tampa Bay's begun to run more man-to-man coverage since they've been able to add Phillips to the lineup.
See the numbers there for Joe Hills on the season. You can add another 41-yard chunk as Grady throws his way at the goal line, and a flag away from the football. Looks like it'll go against the Tampa Bay secondary. That's Rick J. Hill for Tampa Bay defensively.
And Randy, for you as a guy who scored so many touchdowns down here in the red zone, as we'll take a look at Rick J. Hill, the Jack linebacker cannot go deeper than 5 yards. Ball was released, so he did get out just a bit early. But Randy, some of the tricks of the trade for you as a guy down here in the red zone. After this snap, I'd love to get your thoughts on red zone route running.
Sounds good.
Keep in mind, the Sharks have Derek Ross to work with, and right on cue, he rumbles in for a touchdown. 9 consecutive games with a score for Ross, the boss.
Anthony, to touch base on what you talked about, though, these guys have such a luxury in Derek Ross, but the red zone is where I thrived at. That's the one place where it's most of the time it's going to be man on man. And in the red zone, it's just about being patient. The quarterback having the ability, and he's going to wait on you to make your move. Coach White was really good at allowing us and putting us in isolation situations to where we could win. And so that's why in the red zone, I always look forward. I always thrived in the red zone because we always had so much time. And then along with Cedric, me playing with him for 10 years, he knew my thoughts, I know his thoughts. So it was such a pleasure to play in, to be in the red zone and to score, like you said, quite a few touchdowns. But I was blessed, man. Lucky to have the big lefty, the GOAT, greatest of all time. So that's one thing about the red zone, though. It is just man on man. one-on-one, and it's imperative that you win in the red zone.
And we got to watch there Derrick Ross, a unique weapon in the Arena Football League, as Randy referenced there, because for the most part you won't see teams with running backs at the fullback position that have this type of ability to put up the type of career numbers we're looking at. The all-time leading rusher, all-time leading in rushing touchdowns, carries, you name it, Derrick Ross has the AFL record at this point. Former NFL running back with the Kansas City Chiefs. He was the player of the year in NFL Europe at one point. So he had quite a resume coming into the Arena Football League. And he's been able to take the fullback position to another level. A guy with the girth to be a blocker, but still has those nimble tailback feet.
It looks like Ross had steak for dinner last night. It's because he did. I watched him take it down at our hotel.
I'm guessing that was an impressive sight.
Treated Randy to an ice cream as well, which is very nice of Ross.
So
Tied up at 14.
I showed up for dessert. He treated me to ice cream too.
You tend to have that kind of timing. Here's Ings with a good seam down the left side. And he shakes a tackler. Kendrick Ings brings it back for 6. 56 yards for the rookie.
There's a reason that Kendrick Ings is one of my favorites for the Rookie of the Year in the Arena Football League. It's because he can increase the voltage in an arena on any given snap. Ings returned to the lineup this week. Missed their battle last week with the Arizona Rattlers. Some rib issues. Seeming no worse for wear tonight.
What an explosive player. Wow.
Peterson will tack on, and Tampa Bay reclaims the lead. Mentioned that article on arenafootball.com. Ings, because of a combination of academic issues and heart murmurs, was not able to play collegiately. So he made his own highlight reel, sent them to every team in the AFL, then attended a tryout with the Storm while staying in Tampa, actually. Finally earned that pro contract, and he is one of the rising stars in this league.
That's why his head coach, Lawrence Samuels, continues to say that he hasn't reached his ceiling yet. I mean, it's one thing to be a rookie, but they played no collegiate football. And he was a big recruit coming out of high school before those medical and academic issues crept in. So he's one of the rare birds. There's a lot of people out there who tend to assume because it's not the National Football League that they can step onto an AFL field. They find out when they go to those open tryouts that it's not so simple. There's a lot of guys with major college football and NFL on their resume before they step onto the Arena Football field. But for Ings, he's one of those rare birds. You've rarely seen it. A guy who comes in with this level of talent. Well played by you explaining the story of why, JB.
Big Ant. A fact. Fun fact here, something you did know. Randy Gatewood was a guy that the Rattlers found in an open tryout. No one really knows that, but it's true indeed. Open tryout, Coach White signed me. And lo and behold, everything else kind of took place. But there are certainly always one or two guys, one or two gems in that open tryout that go on to have some pretty good arena football careers.
Yeah, pretty good, certainly described what Randy Gatewood went on to do, that Hall of Fame career.
Another test for Reed. Almost walked himself into a safety the last time he returned. This time comfortably out across the 10 and spins away from the kicker. Reed looking to answer with a kick return of his own. Sets the Sharks up inside the Tampa Bay 20. I mentioned that his head coach Les Moss is upstairs with us. Anthony still recovering from a medical procedure.
Les Moss, he's been a guy who's won Arena Bowls as assistant coach for the previous teams when he was with the Orlando Predators. His father, Perry, may rest in peace, was a Hall of Fame coach. And Les Moss finally won his own Arena Bowl championship here with the Jacksonville Sharks back in 2011. He's got some nerve issues in his neck. And a few weeks ago, as he was getting out of the swimming pool, there in the Jacksonville area, the ground actually ended up burning his feet. And he couldn't tell because he doesn't have a lot of nerve sensitivity in his feet.
You get a look at his vantage point as well as ours, as Jacksonville trailing by a touchdown gets it right back with Joe Hills. One play, 9 yards. Tommy Grady delivers.
Some confusion in the secondary. One thing about that bunch coverage is anytime those receivers bunch up like that and send somebody in motion, they don't know what side the motion is going to go to. Presented some confusion in the secondary, and he's running wide open, as you can see.
It's a great point from Randy Gatewood, and it still came from the motion of Joe Hills, but the fact that they ran the motion through that bunch formation where the two receivers there stationary were so tight together, it can cause that confusion from the defensive backs.
Routes to the point after. 1:24 left in our opening period, tied at 21. Now, Tommy Grady is a new arrival for Jacksonville, and Anthony, he calls all of his own plays, and he's not used to playing with a fullback like Derrick Ross, who got the second touchdown, and hadn't played with the likes of Joe Hill. So how much of this 5-game winning streak can be attributed to just the cohesion of this offensive system?
There's been a growth process for the Jacksonville Sharks, really on both sides of the football, but especially on offense, where you've got Tommy Grady, who's a former AFL MVP, had a great collegiate career as well. He's got a huge arm, but for him, the numbers he's put up in the past, transitioning that here to Jacksonville, where you bring in so much talent. You mentioned Derrick Ross, Tiger Jones, Joe Hills, even a guy like Mokeet Ruffins on the offensive line who can play that tight end position and be athletic. They had to come accustomed to the way that Tommy Grady calls football plays using his terminology. And so with only 2 weeks of training camp in the Arena Football League, we've seen the offense continue to grow sort of quarter by quarter in the AFL. We're now passing the halfway point of the season. The Sharks offense seems to be hitting its stride.
All right, so locked at 21 with 1:24 left in the opening period. Ings a 56-yard return for a score the last time he touched it. Here he comes again. And this time the Sharks have it blanketed. Just the first of a couple of nationally televised arena football games tonight. Death Valley is the site of the next one. That's over on CBS Sports Network. The Spokane Shock will host the Las Vegas Outlaws, and our friends and colleagues Ari Rolf, Sed Bonner, and Steve Pappin are on the call. That's at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So after we're done here, flip on over to Las Vegas and Spokane.
Close. Sail 3-1. I'm ready. Stay alive, T.
Jason Boltis making the call in the Tampa Bay huddle. He's thrown a couple of touchdown tosses to Julius Gregory. And Salmon's the motion man, looking his way. Slammed in the boards right in front of the Jacksonville bench after a first down catch.
And Lawrence Samuels predicted that we could have a big night from Emory Salmons tonight because he wasn't with the team throughout training camp, but he does see him as an experienced receiver who's played in arena bowls for the Philadelphia Soul, for the Spokane Shock. I think Salmons adds a little bit of that championship medal that he likes.
Reed there with the tackle against the boards. First down and 10 from the 18-yard line. There's Salmons again. Dragged down from behind by Terrence Smith. First and goal for the Storm coming.
We'll see whether or not they bring in Dexter Jackson. I mentioned the MAC linebacker who can come over and play fullback. Here, another quality read from Jason Boltis, and the ball right on the money. This hits Emory Salmons right on the numbers while he's in stride. That allowed him to continue to advance the football.
We'll also expire our first quarter. With the score, Jacksonville 21 and Tampa Bay 21. Emory Salmons with a couple of catches on this drive, and they'll be on Jacksonville's doorstep when we come back to Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Back in Tampa, Florida for this South Division showdown on a Friday night between the Jacksonville Sharks and the Tampa Bay Storm, tied at 21 as we go to the second quarter. And we bring in, I guess, analyst Derek Brooks, the Hall of Famer and president of the Tampa Bay Storm. A good start for your group.
Yes, you know, that was one of the things we've preached all week, is a fast start here at home is something that we've not been able to do the past home games, and Coach made an emphasis of it this week. You saw a little no huddle, you know, to start, and again, we scored every possession, and that's what we're trying to do.
Jason Boltis, who was the quarterback for the rival Orlando Predators last season. Speaking of Boltis, nice pass there for the touchdown to Salmons. Derek, your evaluation here early,
Yes.
now that you've added Jason Boltis to this offense.
Yeah, what we've been able to do is, you know, capitalize on what he does best. That's his short ball accuracy, as you can see, and his mobility. And at times, Jason has gotten away from it, but the past couple weeks, particularly the second half of last week's game, he got back to that. So hopefully he can continue that momentum this week. And we like his leadership skills. Man, he comes in, take commands of the offense, take commands of the team. And again, I could, you know, be more pleased with what Jason's done thus far.
All right, so on the opening play of the second quarter, Tampa Bay adds a touchdown, and they jump in front 28-21. We're back upstairs with former Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker Derek Brooks. Hey, anything going on in Tampa Bay this week?
Yes, you know, I mean, big excitement. Obviously, Game 5 tomorrow night here. You know, our Lightning, you know, competing for a Stanley Cup. And, again, it's brought excitement everywhere. Even, you know, to our team, our guys are rooting them on. And, you know, it's been a busy week, for, you know, for our support staff. Obviously supporting us, supporting our Lightning, but we like it that way. And same goes for Cleveland, you know, and the Gladiators. So we want to continue to have that all year long.
That type of leadership in the Arena Football League, to have organizations like Tampa Bay, like Cleveland, that have that level of infrastructure, do you feel like that's what can continue to boost the league forward?
Yes, you know, and that's what, you know, hopefully we'll get to that, to get more of this type of ownership in. That's not to say anything bad about our current ownership that doesn't, you know, share NHL arena or NBA arena with their teams. But, again, if we can get more of that type of ownership in our league, it'll make us that much more stronger.
Well, Steven Stamkos and the Bolts are going to try and claim Game 5 here tomorrow night. I do have to point out that my broadcast partner was at the Madhouse on Madison for Game 4 earlier this week.
I know, and, you know, I got wind of that. You know, I don't know if he was, you know, wearing a Lightning shirt or a Black Hawk shirt, you know, living in Chicago. I'm quite sure he felt that pressure to support the Blackhawks.
That place was rocking. It really was. It was a fun atmosphere.
You know, and speaking of that atmosphere, you know, again, hopefully we can get a team back in Chicago, you know, here in the near future. Because I remember.
Look at this.
Oh,
off
my
the
God.
net,
Yes.
off the hands of Reed, and Ings scores again.
Oh, my God. Lightning strikes for the Storm. Lightning strikes for the Storm.
Well, J.B. Long, you referenced the amazing journey of Kendrick Ings that led him into the Storm and to the Arena Football League. I mean, he doesn't have a comparison from the collegiate ranks of how you go from being a kick returner, running one back from a touchdown, a talented young wide receiver, and now getting into the end zone again on the kickoff coverage team.
And, you know, Anthony, that's one of the things I explained to fans before the game, the difference between the indoor and outdoor games are plays like that. So I'd say don't leave your seats. You know, plays like this happen, and just hope it happens for the good guys in blue.
So, Derek, you're telling me there were no hard nets in Tallahassee in your day?
You know, not up there, not even, you know, here with the Bucks. And, you know, again, it's fun trying to create that atmosphere for our kicker in practice, you know, to get that look. But, you know, guys hustling, and Lady Luck bounced our way this time.
Special teams impact made by Kendrick Ings. He brought one back for a touchdown. He recovers another to give Tampa Bay a 35-21 lead, looking for their second win of the year over Jacksonville. Well, Tampa Bay was the last team to beat Jacksonville. The Sharks are on a 5-game winning streak, but our score earlier in the second, 35-21 Tampa Bay. And we want you to be sure to check out arenafootball.com for all the latest news and info on the Arena Football League. And while you're there, shop the AFL Team Fan Shop for all the latest gear. Check out arenafootball.com today. Back with Anthony Herron, J.B. Long, and Derek Brooks joining us upstairs in the booth. Well, you said it. Your franchise was the last team to beat Jacksonville. They've been one of the hottest teams in the league ever since they played here on May the 2nd.
You know, and give Coach, you know, Les all the credit for his guys bouncing back after that tough loss. But you look at our division, we're all within one game of each other of all the divisions. So, again, we knew it was going to be, again, that competitive going into the season. And we're just trying to do our part to compete and stay alive.
I think Greg Reed is relieved to see that ball sail over the hard net. He'll give it to his quarterback. But here's what you're talking about in the division. Anthony Herron has called it the most competitive. And the rematch games, Jacksonville, since losing to Tampa Bay, has just been on a tear.
Yes, and that's why I say I give Coach Moss all the credit. You know, the big win against Philly, and they've come and made plays at the right time. So hopefully, you know, we'll be able to repeat our last performance against them and start a winning streak of our own.
Meanwhile, Grady's looking to improve to 4-0 in rematch games here in the summer of 2015. He has started 5 of 7 for 91 yards and a couple of touchdowns. One to Hills, one to Tiger Jones. And here comes Jones attacking the line of scrimmage at the snap. Lofted ball to Harvey. Boy, did he drop that in the bucket perfectly. Right over the top of Rick J. Hill, the Jack linebacker.
And Harvey's found his role in this offense here in recent weeks. Referenced earlier, he was normally season in and season out one of, if not the leading receiver for the Jacksonville Sharks. And we've seen him now being the number 3 option, but over the last couple of games, he's found the sweet spot. And Tommy Grady has gotten more confidence in him.
Yeah, that was a typical Arena League throw right there by a veteran quarterback with that touch pass. I would have loved to see Nick Addison a little closer to him.
First and goal just outside the 5, and a throw right down the line to Harvey. And Addison recovering to make the tackle up against the boards with a flag down.
Personal foul, block below the waist, offense number 11, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Yes, when I saw the play develop, Anthony, I knew that was going to be the call because we got 3 of those calls against us last week, and I had to speak with your good friend Joe Kleinschmidt, you know, this week in the league office to get a clarification, you know, of this rule when it gets, you know, to the high motion man and when he cannot cut.
And it has to be beyond that 5-yard mark before the high motion receiver is allowed to cut one of the defensive backs. And so if the officials were watching the same film from last week, they saw it called on the Storm, they were ready to go tonight.
Oh, man, just know he got more than one email from me about that.
I'm sure he did.
Grady slides the pocket right down the seam. It's Joe Hills in from 16.
A blend of explosiveness and power that Joe Hills possesses. He's got the longest active streak of games with a touchdown grab. Currently going in the Arena Football League, the 47th consecutive contest that Hills has had a touchdown grab, and you obviously know the career, the ability level of Joe Hills very well.
Yes, and, you know, he just, again, had to find his rhythm in his timing with Grady early in the season, and over the past 4 to 5 weeks, they've had that. You know, and I just look at us, you know, right there in the secondary. We just got to be a little bit more tighter on the screws. It's a little too much second guessing going on right now in our back end.
Well, Derek Brooks, thank you so much for joining us. I'll just point out that the score was tied when you came on the air, and you leave up a score.
Thank you.
Tommy Grady has his Sharks back within a score, 35-28 with 11:10 to go before halftime. Let's check in down on the field with Randy Gatewood.
Guys down there on the field, both teams are fighting hard. As you can see, Tampa's caught a couple of breaks with the ball bouncing off the net, bouncing off the pole, scoring a touchdown. But they're fighting. Jacksonville is not giving up, of course. They just scored, making a 1-touchdown game. So I'm anxious to see what happens and how they respond with the adversity that they had here early in the first half.
One of the things when the division is this deep that you sort of get used to having to respond to adversity. And Tampa Bay's had a number of close games this season that they haven't been able to pull out. And I'd say more than any team in the league, they've had the peaks and valleys, looking like one of the best teams in the league, and then not looking like they're fulfilling their potential.
Great kick off the corner bar, and nowhere for Ings to go. He does squeeze his way out across the 5. The ball came out after the play, and so Tampa Bay will take over after a return of 8 yards. Check out the series history between these two teams. And Jacksonville with the postseason win leads at all time, 9 wins against 3 losses, and they'll meet for a 3rd time this season on the 25th of July in Jacksonville.
Well, there hasn't been a big role so far in the game for T.T. Tolliver. There's been some route combinations that Tolliver's run. As actually, we've got a little laundry on the field. Is that a red flag? We may have Jacksonville challenging whether or not the ball was stripped from Kendrick Ings.
Jacksonville is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was down prior to losing possession of the football. The previous play is under further review.
Adam Savoy, our referee, will head on over to the monitor.
I was curious in live action because we did see Jacksonville, and it appeared to be Jaron Harvey that made the late strip there and dove on the football. So this will showcase the access we have in the Arena Football League as Adam Savoy goes over to the replay monitor. He'll be talking to our producer in the truck, Scott Snyder.
Okay, Scott. The ruling on the field is that the runner was down prior to losing possession of the football. Jacksonville challenge saying that the ball was out. There, I can't see where the ball is. Can you run that back for me, please? All right, he's contacted. If he makes contact with the ball, he's down. Run that back, please. All right, he'll slow it down. And he still has possession there. His knee is in the wall at the 5-yard line. It appears as he still has possession of the football. So, if you have another look, please? Thank you. If you could run that back for me. His knee is the first thing that touches the wall. And his knee is in the wall there. And it appears as though he still has possession of the football. I can't see the football, so I cannot reverse the call on the field. Thank you. There, I can't see when his knee hits the wall before or after the ball comes out. If I could get the third look one more time, please. This is the best look in my opinion. His knee is in the wall, and I cannot see where the ball is. So the call on the field will stand, and it'll be Tampa Bay's ball, first down at the 5-yard line. All right, thank you very much.
A wonderful illustration of the access we have here in the AFL on ESPN. Anthony, as you were kind of watching, what was your reaction?
The ruling on the field stands. Jacksonville will be charged with their first timeout.
I agree. I agree with what Adam Savoy, as we got to listen to him go through that review process. And initially, I thought it was a tough one, and he saw it certainly before I did, that the knee of Kendrick Ings is really what was ruling him out of bounds initially. Before it appeared the ball started to become jostled free. Love the effort from Jaron Harvey, and we mentioned it earlier. That's part of what his coach Les Moss wanted to see more of from him on special teams, making plays in that phase of the game as well.
Whistle stops play before the first down snap.
The clock operator, please reset the game clock to 10:52.
A restart with 10:52. Jason Boltis goes back to work. He's 8 of 9 for 89 yards and 3 touchdown tosses in this first half.
Chips left, wide in 0-1, 30.
Most importantly, he's kept the ball out of the hand of the Jacksonville Sharks. He does have 14 interceptions on the season, most in the AFL. Emery Salmons, his motion man. Escapes the pocket. And picks up 6, maybe 7 for the first time tonight, Anthony. We can call Joe Sykes' name.
In this situation, it was from showing the hustle, being in chase mode. Sykes coming from the backside. Showing the speed up the field, the explosiveness in the hands, doesn't give up on the play. May have been 6 or 7 yards down the field, but he showed the effort there necessary.
Lawrence Samuels, head coach of the Tampa Bay Storm, said the key to the game in his mind, controlling number 19. His Storm have done that so far, building this touchdown lead. And Gregory caught the first score, and he's out to the 15, about a half-yard shy of the first down marker. 3rd and short coming.
Boltis Boltis is an extremely gifted athlete. He went to the NFL Combine, even though he came out of a very small school, Division III level, Hartford College. A great career there, one of their all-time leading passers. Ran a 4.8 at the Combine. 26 reps of 225 on the bench, a 32-inch vertical, so the athleticism, the arm strength, all those things are possessed by Jason Boltis.
Athletic enough to surge for the first down. Second time we've seen him do that tonight.
You hear the familiar refrain, Derek Brooks, and he was up here joining us, talking to Lawrence Samuels, Storm head coach, about it. The leadership is there. He does everything right. He's willing to be vocal with his teammates to bring them along as well. It's nights like tonight where Jason Boltis, while he's playing well early in the first half, needs to be able to maintain that, to have that consistent level of performance, leading the team to key victories. This is a big night for him.
Saw his Hall of Fame head coach, who retired #1 in AFL history in career receptions. Play clock at 2. Does get the snap off. A nice pocket to throw from. Gregory the targets. And good coverage by Greg Reed. He comes up hobbled.
That's another one-on-one opportunity Boltis trying to take advantage of. Reed, great angle, playing the football over the top. It appeared that Julius Gregory may have just landed on his foot as he was diving, trying to make the catch. Think about the type of bravery necessary. I mean, there will be moments where you see players get injured as they're diving. We saw Tolliver earlier just diving onto the ground and get up gingerly, but knowing that the board is right there and running towards those walls at full speed, willing to lay your body out.
Just to reset the situation at Jacksonville secondary, again, no Larachi Jackson, their 5th-year defensive back, in the lineup tonight. Greg Reed asked to carry the load. They can ill afford to lose him.
All the team has gravitated around Reed as well, a rookie player. But even in covering the game on CBS Sports Network when Jacksonville beat Orlando last week, being down there at field level and talking to even players up front like Joe Sykes, feeling that Reed is a player who's taken the defense to another level.
So injured now. He's been beat a couple of times as a DB, and then on special teams, it's been one of those nights.
Very difficult position. Rookie defensive back slash kick returner. When the ball's in his hands, we've seen him be extremely dangerous, but it's so tough to field the football cleanly off the net when you don't have the experience to do it.
That was effectively the break of serve for Tampa Bay and Ings as they got up 2 touchdowns. 35-28 our score with Anthony Herron, JB Long. Glad you're with us for the AFL on ESPN. Jason Boltis using the hard count to get Sykes offside. Throws to the end zone, and T.T. Tolliver between 2 Sharks brings it in. .33 yards from Boltis to Tolliver.
Joe Sykes has to know better than that.
Result of the play is a touchdown.
If you're going to jump off sides, when I coached the defensive line, JB, I said if you step across the line, that flag goes in the air, just finish the play. Make them call unabated to the quarterback. Make them blow the play dead. If they don't, this is what can happen. The offense will go for broke, snap in and snap out when you give them those opportunities as a defense.
Reed goes out in that defensive backfield. Xavier Brewer comes in between Brewer and Smith. Tolliver catches Hall of Famer Barry Wagner for 5th all-time on the touchdown reception list in the Arena Football League. And Tampa Bay goes on top 42-28 after the PAT from Craig Peterson. Well, Boltis has been sharp. His receiving core led by Tolliver all the way to the end zone. 8-minute mark here in Tampa Bay, and the Storm have a 2-touchdown lead on Jacksonville. Sunday night, it's ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball as Joey Votto's Reds invade Wrigley to take on rookie phenom Chris Bryant and the Cubs. Baseball rules on ESPN. Reds and Cubs Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern. Available on ESPN and also your Watch ESPN app. And Jacksonville Sharks fans making the trip across states, riding a 5-game winning streak. Tampa Bay, the last team to beat the Sharks here in the South Division. Peterson will boot it away. And it's Terrence Smith taking over for Reed. Off the bar, able to smother it. Can't break the 5. Let's revisit that touchdown catch from T.T. Tolliver.
Started at the top of the plate, where the fact that Joe Sykes jumps off sides, that puts Xavier Brewer in a bad position, because after he flinches up the field, Jason Bolters knows I can go for broke. Brewer's in an HBO position. He's trying to help a brother out as Chris Smith gave up the inside, but the spacing is thrown off, and Joe Sykes, he's got to take at least a piece of that touchdown, even though the defensive secondary of the Sharks was out of position.
Tommy Grady, a 2-touchdown deficit. Going for it all. Joe Hills with a flag down, trying to break free of Al Phillips.
I'll be curious who this one is on.
Pass interference, defense number 14. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Al Phillips is going to be running right at us here. So there's a lot of jostling. We see Phillips there. He gets into a speed turn. He puts hands on Joe Hills. Joe Hills puts hands on him. I think sometimes officials get a little bit flag anxious when they see jostling. But there in that situation, I felt like Hills and Phillips were both in position, just jostling with each other. I didn't see a real advantage to either side.
Well, back in week 6, both Joe Hills and Rick J. Hill, the Jack linebacker for Tampa Bay, were ejected before halftime. That had a serious impact on the way the final outcome played out. Here's Tiger Jones with a catch into Tampa Bay territory at the 12-yard line.
Tiger Jones has sweet feet and smooth route running ability. You watched him there, came out of the break, the way he rolls those hips, and as soon as he snaps his head around to find the football, he's like a football-seeking missile.
Already a 30-yard touchdown grab to his credit. 23 there to set up first down and 10. Looks like the ball will be spotted at the 13-yard line. There's Rick J. Hill, the rookie from Fort Valley State. Ross gets a carry to the 10.
And Randy, for you mentioned it earlier, you had Danny White for a portion of your career with the Rattlers. You and Cedric Bonner had to go through a couple of different offenses as coaches changed. How difficult is it? There's only so many routes you can run in the AFL, but is it difficult to get used to new terminology?
Oh, yes, it's very difficult. And in fact, one year we struggled with it so bad, and we fought back and forth with trying to change the offense once Larry Koharic came in, and he finally kind of just bent over and let me and Sad and Hunky and some of us use some of our offense as well.
Grady able to slide the pocket, buying time to get Hills. A 10-yard touchdown from Grady to Hills, and that's his third.
But back to what you were saying, Anthony, it can be extremely difficult to pick up a new offense. As an Arizona team, we were used to playing together for 7, 8, 9 years, and then all of a sudden the terminology changes, everything changes. So Coach Larry Koharic, he let us implement some of the stuff that we had done in the past and stuff that we were really successful with. We added that to his offense, but it still took us a year before we really felt comfortable and feel like we were really superior in that offense.
Julian Roush stays perfect on the evening.
The initial part of this snap is Tommy Grady executing as a quarterback within the pocket, staying balanced, keeping his eyes down the field because he couldn't help but feel the rush. Derek Ross did just enough to keep the nose, Richard Cleveland, off of him. And while Grady has his eyes downfield, you saw him use that velocity, the arm strength that was necessary to throw that football late but still get it there.
Easy to keep those eyes up when they're 6 feet and 7 inches off the ground, isn't it? You can see over any line.
Well, Randy, you've been next to Tommy Grady throughout the game. I mean, Cedric Bonner was every bit of 6'4", 6'5". Have there been many quarterbacks this tall in the Arena Football League that have been this effective that you can remember?
I don't think so. We had one guy play for us in Arizona named Steve Campbell. Was an ASU guy. Supposed to have been a very, very good quarterback coming out of ASU. He was close to as tall as Tommy Grady, but I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback this tall, and I've never stood next to one this tall. I mean, I think I'm a pretty tall guy. In fact, I always cheat a couple inches on my height, but this is one tall guy. He is, and he's a great, great quarterback and a very good individual too. So
I showed you he went to Utah. He actually started his career at Oklahoma, where he backed up someone named Jason White, who went on to win the Heisman Trophy.
That guy?
Before making his way to Salt Lake City. And speaking of Sed Bonner, he asked Grady last week, why Jacksonville? Why did he choose to come to Florida to play this 2015 arena season? And he said he's anxious to win a championship. And he felt like with the onside kick coming, the Sharks get on it. Looked like it was touched by Dexter Jackson first for Tampa Bay. And the Sharks believe they have it.
But the ball never did travel 10 yards. And so the official, Adam Savoie, is signaling that it is Sharks football.
Alvin Ray Jackson on the recovery.
Dexter Jackson came across the 10-yard line, and actually he ended up going for the recovery because it tapped the foot of Rick J. Hill.
You could see a red flag here, and there it is. I believe it may have been touched by Jacksonville.
I think you're right. It looked to me like number 40 in white, perhaps Pierre Turner coming through leading the way, got a piece of it. And if so, that would give it back to the Storm.
Tampa is challenging the ruling on the field that the kick was not touched before it went 10 yards. The previous play is under further review.
Each team gets 2 challenges. If they're both correct, you can earn a third.
We'll get another look at the best replay in sports television. Adam Savoie will take a look at whether or not the ball crossed the 10 and who touched it first.
All right, Scott, the ruling on the field is that the kicking team did not touch the ball first. If they did touch the ball, that would be illegal touching. And the ball would belong to Tampa. There it hits, it appears to hit White 17 before it hits anybody else. There it clearly hits number 17's left leg at the 7-yard line. So we're going to reverse the call on the field. It will be Tampa's ball, 1st and goal at the 7-yard line.
That's what the replay challenge is meant to do. Adam Savoie telling us what he's going to do, confirming that the call will be overturned.
I think the crowd here at Emily Arena also has a pretty good feel for it.
After review, it has been determined that Jacksonville number 17 touched the ball before it went 10 yards. Call on the field is reversed. It will be Tampa Bay's ball, 1st and goal at the 7-yard line.
And Storm fans were watching the same replay angle on the big screen here at the arena that we were.
It needs to be indisputable video evidence. And that's certainly what was available there to Adam Savoie. I just like saying Adam Savoie.
Don't call me savoir-faire, Adam Savoie.
Probably go a few different directions with that one, yeah. Gotta get creative tonight. And Alvin Ray Jackson, as he was watching it.
He's got it buckled up again defensively. 4:31 to go in the half. Tampa Bay looking to extend a touchdown lead. Boltis drops. Good protection. Reaching up is Gregory with the flag down. For now, it's a 7-yard touchdown.
Pass interference, offense number 2. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
This one will come back. Julius Gregory getting physical down here in the red zone. Looking Gatewood-esque, a bit of a push-off. Greg Reed pushed him all the way to the ground. I'll tell you what, even though that play is coming back, couldn't be more impressed with the pass protection from the Tampa Bay Storm so far. I mean, Joe Sykes, who we've highlighted throughout the game, he's not the only quality rusher. Jerry Turner is an excellent pass rusher who's in right now as the left defensive end. And these two guys maybe have more combined sacks than any other tandem of edge rushers in the league, especially you throw Scooter Berry, who comes off the bench in the mix as well.
To the near side, Ings through the air this time. Gets the 10-yard line. 7-yard pickup on 1st down.
You can't ask for much more than just a lovely arc to the pocket Ben Osai doing a great job outside on the edge with Joe Sykes. They made an adjustment to the lineup. Nicholas Jean-Baptiste in at the nose position, hoping to get more force in the middle.
50, option wall 9 on 2, ready? 2, 50, 50. 2.
They've been utilizing the 50 protection throughout the majority of the half. Jamarcus Hardrick getting the start at fullback, placing in the middle.
All 3 receivers to his right. He extends the play and throws low. Broken up by Terrence Smith, intended for Gregory.
And Terrence Smith has as good a feel for anyone, especially on these red zone routes, because of the fact that in 2012 he had 99 grabs, 29 touchdown catches out of those receptions, nearly 1,200 yards. Boltis has to be careful throwing the ball so late across the middle.
Feels like we're starting to see Joe Sykes get a little bit of traction. He's chased Boltis out of the pocket a few times here in this second quarter, has yet to get all the way home. No sacks in our first half. It looks like Tampa Bay will call timeout.
Timeout. Tampa, their first. 30 seconds.
With 2:28 remaining before the break.
Bigger body on the wall. Look. Give me a bigger body.
If you want access to every AFL game at once, arenafootball.com is the place to be. Click AFL Live for an online broadcast of games around the league via the ESPN3 video player. Or if you're on the go, download the Watch ESPN app to your mobile device and keep up with the AFL action as it happens. Arena Football League live action via arenafootball.com. Is he staying at our hotel, Anthony Herron?
Well, we did see quite a few outfits at our hotel. It's not Comic-Con that's here. There's one of those festivals.
MetroCon, a big convention in town this weekend.
Okay. You used to live here. I guess you've seen those types of things.
Live here. I used to attend them, and I still might. This thing goes less than 3 hours. I'm changing.
Did you bring an outfit with you is the question. And would your wife disown you if you did?
I had to wear it through TSA so they didn't check my luggage. 42-35 as Boltis on 3rd down and goal. Wants Gregory, has Gregory, flips over the board and brings home another score. Boltis to Gregory has been the favorite combination for the Tampa Bay Storm.
Lawrence Samuel said he had been waiting for the light bulb to come on for Julius Gregory. So big, so talented. The physical gifts apparent. The consistency had been lacking, but for the second consecutive week, the most available target that Jason Boltis has found has been Julius Gregory.
And Coach Samuel said that he thinks Julius Gregory is a faster Joe Hills. That's pretty high praise, and it's been interesting to watch them each star in this first half. Well, Tampa Bay used a special teams break to get a 2-score lead, and they have maintained it through to the 2-minute mark in the second quarter. And Gregory, who had his breakout game, according to his head coach Lawrence Samuels, the first time these two teams met in week 6, had 7 catches and a score that night, and it looks like he's still trying to shake off the effects of the sideboard in the end zone. Good to see him bouncing up and down.
With good reason. They say the walls in the Arena Football League always have been and always will be undefeated. We can count this one as at least a draw because the walls didn't win. Gregory goes up, snags the football. Just think about the courage it takes. I mean, you know you're running full speed and the football's coming in. He knows the boards are there. And yet he's willing to put his body in harm's way to try and make this touchdown grab for his team. That's impressive stuff.
Really appreciate our fantastic camera crew here this evening. We mentioned our producer, Scott Snyder, our director, Mike Hassan. With Anthony Herron, I'm JB Long, and the 2-time AFL Ironman of the Year, Randy Gatewood, at field level.
Randy's, you just saw Julius Gregory go over the boards there. I'm sure it brought back some memories. How long does it take to get used to something like that? Where in the outdoor game, you don't have to worry about a wall surrounding you.
You get used to it real quick. As you start to run into that wall, you see it, You see it out of your peripheral vision, and a lot of times you pull up. But sometimes when there's a DB bearing down on you, even if you pull up, he's going to throw you over. Like, that's their goal. That's what they want to do. It's almost an intimidation thing. So you get used to it real quick.
Now it's the Storm's turn to go onside, and it squirts through all the way to Terrence Smith, who covers it just shy of midfield.
I did not like going over that wall, Anthony.
I don't like the thought of going over the wall, and I haven't had to do it myself. I was just ran into the wall.
Stoppage here to check on Terrence Smith. Be able to see that left shoulder, the pad exposed.
Smith makes a clean catch, and a couple of bodies come in to secure the tackle. It's good to see Smith able to walk off the field under his own power.
We've been checking in with Randy down there on the field. I think he's just happy to be sporting those tight white kicks today and not crashing into any boards or having his shoulder pile driven into the turf.
Absolutely. You know, there may come a time where I got to be quick on my feet, you know. It's funny you mentioned that, though, JB, because Ings just made a comment about it as I was going by.
They do stand out, Gate.
Offside. Offense number 11. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That penalty on Tiger Jones. And just talking strategy for a moment, the reason Tampa Bay decided to go with the onside kick, they're up a possession at this point, so they didn't need it for the possession battle, but just under 2 minutes remaining. And so an opportunity to try to seize a 2-for-1 if they could recover the ball.
Brady looks to check on his motion man, Tiger Jones. Onside this time, and makes the catch about 2 yards beyond the original line of scrimmage. A pickup of 12.
You think about the career of Tiger Jones as we approach the 1 minute warning here, but a player that put up such huge numbers with the Philadelphia Soul over the years, went to back-to-back Arena Bowls with them, the only player in Arena Football League history with 3 consecutive 2,000-yard receiving seasons. He's had his shots in the NFL as well with the Philadelphia Eagles. Soul actually lost him during that Arena Bowl run 1 year to the Eagles. He's had a marvelous career. It ended in Philadelphia last season, but he's here. He seems revitalized this season in Jacksonville.
1 minute left, as you see here in our first half, as Jones talks with his quarterback Brady, and so normal outdoor timing rules will be in effect when we come back to Amalie Arena. The Storm have a new franchise record, 49 first half points. They're up 2 scores on rival Jacksonville.
Long way since our days in Iowa.
I had a feeling Doug Kazarian was going to make a Quad City Steamwheelers reference. That's where he and I first met, covering AF2 in the quads. Not as far as Doug has in our Bristol studios.
I'm guessing Doug has a little bit of pull, though. Maybe an SC top 10 nominee there for Julius Gregory. Could be worthwhile.
We mentioned fast starts were important for Tampa Bay. They've set a new franchise record with 49 first half points. Jacksonville with Grady under center trying to answer. Tiger Jones his target, and as he goes spilling over the boards, it's just beyond his reach.
I've been watching this for well over a decade at this point, JP, and I could just never get over it. The bravery, the courage necessary to go diving into and over these walls, snap after snap, trying to put points on the board.
Jones has 1 touchdown catch, measuring 30 yards. Joe Hills has the other 3 from Tommy Grady. They face 3rd down and 8. Play clock at 5. Grady with time. Hills the target, reaching up at the goal line, and brings it in for the score. 6'4" Joe Hills against 6'1" Tim Shelley there.
And this is an outdoor football pass right here because of the arm strength that it takes. Joe Hills is going to run a stop route after he advances up the field. The release is the key part of it, running through contact, and he knows he's going back shoulder the whole way. There's no lollipop, there's no lob, no teardrop coming off the right arm of Tommy Grady. There is pure, unadulterated heat, and Joe Hills able to reel it in.
Roush punches another one through, and they're back within 7 with 47 seconds remaining. Now, talk strategy with me here, Anthony Herron. Tampa Bay would love nothing more than to take that 2-touchdown lead they had into the halftime locker room. How do they manage these final 47 seconds?
I think from a decision standpoint for Jacksonville, at 47 seconds, you're sort of just under the ability, I believe, to attempt an onside kick. You certainly could. I wouldn't right now if I were Les Moss. So right now, if I were Jacksonville, I would kick it deep, try to play defense, and keep Tampa Bay out of the end zone.
It's great to have you with us for the AFL on ESPN, and coverage continues next weekend on ESPN2. Next Saturday, 11 p.m., the LA Kiss play host to the Philadelphia Soul. And then Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern, the Spokane Shock and the Portland Thunder. Don't miss the gridiron action as both teams try to make their way up these standings. Both games available on ESPN2 and Watch ESPN. And there is the 2010 AFL Coach of the Year.
And Les Moss, he's there. He's got the communication going with his assistant coaches. And they talk frequently throughout the game. In a way, it helps a bit that Tommy Grady has his own playbook, calls his own plays, and Les Moss can talk most frequently with his various assistant coaches throughout the game and trying to manage the situational part of the football.
You have to figure out a way to stop this Tampa Bay Storm offense. As Kendrick Ings, who has a kick return for a touchdown and another recovered already in this first half with his heels on the end line. Works it up the far side, cuts it back at the 15. Crunch, but still on his feet as he crosses midfield. And he sets the Storm up at the Jacksonville 20.
I don't see any rib issue when I'm watching Kendrick Ings play football right now. He runs with a reckless abandon of a young football player that wants to put his body on the line snap after snap. You see him cutting it back against the grain, nearly lost the football there. Able to keep it contained.
Top 5 in the AFL in all-purpose yards. You mentioned he missed last week's contest, but he has scored at least one touchdown in all 10 games of his young career. He also took 9 seconds off the clock there as he gives it back to Jason Boltis. Wide open far side. Gregory's been his favorite target. Inside the 5, he's shoved up against the boards. First down and goal with 31 seconds remaining.
Gregory's been the main target here in the first half, no doubt.
An 18-yard pickup.
Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go right. No, left. Wide zoom, 10 wedge on sound. Sound.
And so from the 3-yard line, going to attempt the QB wedge. This to allow the clock to continue to run as well. Sorry, partner.
And Jacksonville does have 2 timeouts to use if they're able to stop him, which they do. So 26 seconds remaining and second and goal upcoming.
There's Brian Ferguson, who on the offensive side of the football handles the majority of the communication with Les Moss upstairs. On the field right now is Adrian White, the defensive coordinator for the Sharks. And Les Moss able to communicate at a high level because Moss has been a coordinator on both sides of the football. And so whether he's talking to Ferguson or talking to White, he can speak from experience because he hasn't always been that CEO sort of head coach. He's had the headset on talking to Jay Gruden years ago when they were winning Arena Bowls together with the Orlando Predators. A funny story that Les Moss told us was that he and Gruden hated being on headsets together because they just prefer to yell at each other without the headsets.
Boltis again with Hardrick shoving behind him. Squeezes his way into the paint. So 4 through the air for Jason Boltis, and now another on the ground. And he's left the Sharks just 21 seconds and 1 timeout with which to work.
Hey, Yosh having got a ball. For real, Yosh.
Peterson extends Tampa Bay's franchise record. First half scoring 56 points against the Jacksonville Sharks.
We referenced earlier the athleticism of Jason Boltis. We saw some of that strength on display there as well, with a little help from his friends. That offensive line helping him barrel his way into the end zone.
Not a bad line for Jason Boltis as he looks to snap Jacksonville's 5-game winning streak. Now, the record right now for Tampa Bay doesn't look all that great, Anthony, but I think you have to take into context the strength of schedule that they've played. Every single one of their losses has been against another AFL opponent right now with a winning record.
Well, let's take a listen back. That touchdown run. Especially live during the play, you can hear the grunts, the groans of Jason Boltis, of all his linemen there, helping to try to move the line of scrimmage. There's a lot of things about arena football that can be a bit finesse. Even the people dancing in the stands, there's some finesse to that as well. But once you get there inside the 5, you can get into grown man football mode.
They didn't have a Derrick Ross to turn around and hand it to. He's got to be his own Derrick Ross. Good to see Greg Reed back in the contest for the Sharks. That's important to their second half hopes. And he's out to the 19 before the kicker, Craig Peterson, crunches him against the boards. A return of 25 yards for the rookie out of FSU.
How about it? Kickers are football players too. Craig Peterson getting in the action. I can respect that.
He runs 6'3", 220.
Plenty of time here for Tommy Grady in this Jacksonville offense.
16 seconds and a timeout as he takes the snap. Hill's reaching over the boards to give himself up and stop it with 10.
And strategically on that last drive for Tampa Bay, I mean, there was an opportunity for Lawrence Samuels to call a no-no and maybe not have his quarterback Jason Boltis score the touchdown and hoping to run more time off the clock. They elected not to. They put the points on the board. And now Jacksonville will be the last team with the football here.
Let's go. 6 left, Z back. Let's go. 50 pig. 51 pig. Z Poco. Exit zone.
We'll see both.
Go.
The dig route.
Looking to Tiger Jones. Off the screen, nearly intercepted. Tim Shelley had a hand on it. And it was Al Phillips in coverage against Jones. So that brings up second down, but more importantly, 5 seconds remaining.
Jacksonville has scored on 6 out of their 7 possessions.
Time for 2 plays here, Anthony, or is this their last? 5 seconds left. Can they get 2 off?
It would be sketchy. I think they need to think end zone on this snap.
Grady behind his intended receiver, and the home clock lets the final second tick off. Grady and the rest of the Sharks want one more play. And they'll get it.
Jack right there. There's a Jack right there trying to get you.
Clock as it ticks away. Ball skips across the ground. Could even be 2 seconds potentially remaining there. Officials rule it as 1. In live action, I saw it as 1 second.
And Jacksonville will use its final timeout of this first half. Rick J. Hill and Lawrence Samuels getting together, hoping to maintain this 2-score advantage after what has to be considered their best first half, at least offensively, of this 2015 season. A big play here for Jacksonville. Remember, they won the opening toss and chose to defer, Anthony, so they could get a score here and the ball back to start the third quarter if they execute.
So we'll see. Similar route combination. Derrick Ross on the inside of the protection. The post with a dig route coming.
They throw it up to the 6'4" Hills. And that's in the party deck. And that takes us to halftime. So Tampa Bay, with less than a minute to go, was able to extend its lead back to 2 touchdowns, and then the defense holds for a 56-42 lead. Again, 56 first half points. That's a new franchise record. Down to the field with the head coach, Randy Gatewood.
Coach, a franchise record of 56 points in the first half. Can you tell us how your team has been so successful?
I feel that the preparation this week by the coaching staff, the guys really got them in tune. We got our first chance to practice inside because our Tampa Bay Lightning is in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, you know, I think it helps with the young guys with the spacing, and that they're doing a great job tonight.
Up by 2 touchdowns here. What is the message to your team in the second half?
Well, we were in this situation in Orlando, and we failed to execute at the end. So we just got to continue putting the pressure on these guys and keep scoring. That's the name of the arena football.
Thanks, Coach. All right, JB.
Yeah, the ice is definitely down. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup playoffs tomorrow night. But here in Tampa Bay on a Friday evening, the Storm have a 56-42 lead on the Jacksonville Sharks. Moments away from the start of our third quarter, Tampa Bay 56, Jacksonville 42. The second meeting of the season between these two teams. And with a win here, the Storm can clinch the tiebreaker, which could be very important as we get down to the final stretch. Upstairs with Anthony Herron, JB Long, and not to be overlooked in that first half, the performance of the Tampa Bay Storm quarterback.
13 out of 16 in the game so far for Jason Boltis. A night where he needed to play big. He most certainly did in that first half, but it's a Jacksonville pass rush that heats up throughout the game. We'll see how he responds in this third quarter and beyond.
The touchdown tosses have been impressive. Most importantly, he has not thrown an interception, something he's done in his last 6 contests for the Tampa Bay Storm. The first half stats reflect not only that efficiency, but also the impact of the kick return game. Ings, as we showed you, 2 scores in special teams, 157 yards in terms of kick returns. They will be kicking to the Jacksonville Sharks as we begin our third quarter. First, let's check in with Randy Gatewood.
Coach, in an offensive shootout here in the first half, what was the message to your team at halftime?
We just want to keep fighting. We're going to take one play at a time, and we're going to compete, and just compete one play at a time, one quarter at a time, and we're going to see who's at top when it's all over with.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
JB?
And again, Brian Ferguson, who started as a strength coach under Tony Dungy with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A bit of a homecoming for him in Tampa Bay. Handling things on the field with Les Moss upstairs. Tommy Grady in the offense, assuming they can handle the kick cleanly, will get the first crack at it here in the third quarter. They trail by 2 scores.
There must be some sort of draw to the state of Florida. You guys out west who end up coming and living and working in Florida for different stretches. This is not so bad here.
Do I need to explain that draw to you, or is it fairly obvious to you? You've been spending a lot of time here in the Sunshine State.
I certainly have. Well, it's the deepest division in the Arena Football League, so when national television comes calling, you know that Tampa Bay, Orlando, Jacksonville, those are the places the Arena Football League tends to end up this time of year.
The Storm were the last team that beat the Sharks. Jacksonville has rattled off 5 in a row to climb into first place, tied with Orlando at 6-5. Greg Reed off the hard net, looking for a seam at the 5, and Al Phillips there to greet him. A gain of 11 yards, and Tommy Grady will take over.
Certainly a missed opportunity at the end of the first half where Jacksonville got the football back on some questionable clock management from Tampa Bay where they could have tried to run more time off the clock, but Lawrence Samuels trusted his defense, and they came and stepped up for him. Well, Jacksonville would have taken advantage of that drive at the end of the second quarter. This could be a drive where they were attempting to tie the game.
Full start. Offense number 93. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's Mo Ruffins.
Let's go. Trip first, Z back. Let's go. 51 short term, Z back home.
So you saw the numbers there on Tommy Grady in the first half. 12 of 18. 211 yards and 5 touchdowns. As he begins his third quarter. From the tee and Storm, all day to throw, and Tiger Jones couldn't catch up to it.
Alfred Phillips got away with one there because there was time in the pocket. Excellent protection. Mo Ruffins essentially gets a pancake in pass protection after the false start. And Tommy Grady just overthrew the speedy Anthony Tiger Jones.
Let's go. Triple left, X inside. Let's go. 51 short flop, X. Go on. Triple, Tiger! Triple!
Grady bringing Tiger Jones over to trips to the field side. We'll see a post-corner opportunity for Joe Hills.
Just beat the play clock. It is Hills working against Phillips, who bats it away.
This is a portion of the Jacksonville offense that's got the Les Moss wrinkle to it, where he wants Tommy Grady to continue to improve with these choice routes, these option routes, this poco that they call here for Joe Hills. You don't know, as Hills is coming in high motion, whether he's going to work towards the post or towards the corner, a la, of course, the acronym POCO. But it takes a while. Les Moss said it can take 2 to 3 years for a quarterback and wide receiver to get on the same page with that. Hills came in high motion, and he doesn't declare right away. So Tommy Grady's holding the football, waiting. As he starts to round off the route, he can tell he's working towards the corner, but very well played from Al Phillips on a ball that probably should have gotten out of the hands of Tommy Grady a little bit quicker, but he couldn't quite tell yet where Hills was going because they're not on that page.
Everett Dawkins shaken up along the defensive front for Tampa Bay. He's replaced by Julius Forte. And looking right into his eyes, Tommy Grady fires to midfield, and Tiger Jones picks up a fresh set of downs.
You don't need this type of arm strength to be a good arena football quarterback, but it's certainly fun to see it. I mean, Randy Gatewood's down there at field level getting a better look at it than I am, but I can't think of another quarterback in the AFL right now just off sheer arm talent that's beyond what Tommy Grady is. This is a dig route as Tiger Jones flattens out across the formation. Again, the ball a bit late, but when you're as strong as Tommy Grady is, it didn't matter.
22-yard completion, advances it just shy of midfield. On the quick toss, Jones again inside the 15 before Rick J. Hill spun him to the turf. 12 more.
This quick pop pass, reading the coverage, seeing what they're dictating, getting the ball out of his hands quickly to Tiger Jones. And Randy, you've been around a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, the guy you played with, Cedric Bonner, he had one of the stronger arms in the AFL. Do you see sometimes guys with really big arms trying to play arena football struggle because of that?
Sometimes they do, but Tommy Grady's done a great job of it tonight. That last throw was also a little sidearm as well. And I know Sad has dropped it down lots of time to throw a sidearm, but...
Snap infraction. Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The second pre-snap penalty of this drive.
Tommy Grady has all the throws, though. Like I said, that last dig route to Tiger Jones, he dropped down and threw that ball a little sidearm. We like to call that a #1 fastball, and Tiger was able to grab it and secure it for a first down.
See Julius Forte there, the 6'1" defensive lineman who played his college ball right here in Tampa at USF. Now in his second season of arena football with the Storm.
I think Randy said we. I'm assuming he means you and him being baseball guys or something. Like I'm not included.
I will be a part of whatever Randy Gatewood wants to throw our way. I'm with him.
You're included in that for sure, you know. I just became a baseball guy over the last 4 or 5 years because of my son, you know, who's involved heavily in it. But I've certainly enjoyed the game, but it can certainly relate to football when these guys get to throwing balls like this. And I was joking with Sad when we were in Spokane a couple of weeks because I've got 2 scars on my thumbs from surgeries that I had, and a lot of it's from the balls and playing football with him and catching those balls. So,
well, that pinky finger on your left hand is not a thing of beauty, Randy.
Grady drops from a solid pocket. It's Hills again, reaching up Phillips to bust it up.
And Randy, for me, from this vantage point, I feel like even though there's a lot of completions here, Grady is maybe still a bit late on the throws, giving the Tampa Bay secondary an extra hair to react. What's your sense down there?
Yeah, that ball there certainly should have been thrown earlier, but like you said, it takes time. Offensively, it's hard to come to a new place, learn the system, get used to 3 different receivers, and then expect it all to work for them. They're on this 5-game win streak right now, and they've done that. But tonight, they have been a little bit off.
They need the 4-yard line on 3rd down, and right at the sticks, Tiger Jones looking around for a flag. There is not one on the field.
Now another opportunity here for this Tampa Bay defense. The pass rush hasn't really harassed Tommy Grady. Derrick Ross goes with the cut block in the middle, just gives him barely enough time. Another coverage opportunity there from Al Phillips, now on 4th down.
We talk about patience in routes. Tiger has to be more patient. He was really quick on coming out of that route. He's got to sell it, settle a little bit more across the field, and then come out of it, and he's wide open.
Feels like the play of the game so far tonight right here. Grady, 4th down, needs 13, buying time to the end zone. And Tampa Bay stands strong. What a sequence for Al Phillips defensively for the Storm.
Guys, it goes back to what we talked about earlier. 3rd and 4th down, it's imperative you win.
So on the opening drive of the 2nd half, Tampa Bay already working with a 2-score advantage. Turns over Tom Grady and the Sharks on downs. Downtown Tampa lit up for the Bolts, and right now the Tampa Bay Storm with a stop of Jacksonville to end the 1st half and to start our 3rd quarter. And they have kept the league's leading sack artist in check.
He's got to have an imprint on this 2nd half, and this is where he tends to play his best football.
Boltis to the MVP of the game so far, Kendrick Ings, doing it in every phase.
There's 2 players on the field between Ings and Greg Reed, I believe, are amongst the leaders for Rookie of the Year candidates. But Ings does it in so many different ways. He's a playmaker, kick return game as a receiver. We've seen him making plays in coverage as well.
Big Ant, those quick hitters are neutralizing what Sykes is able to do in the pass rush game. Doesn't have enough time to get home. Boltis has been shut. 1st down from his 15. Corner route too tall for Julius Gregory, who hauled in touchdown receptions of 30, 4, and 10 yards in that 1st half. We'll hit the 8-minute mark, 3rd quarter here with Anthony Herron, JB Long. You're watching the AFL on ESPN.
Here we go, here we go. Here we go, 50, rage. We're going X whip, ball 9. I'm already 50, 50.
There's Joe Sykes with at least 1 sack in 10 consecutive games.
Will work both in and back out.
And working back out and working his way to the 1-yard line. T.T. Tolliver gains 13 on 2nd down.
It's been the Julius Gregory show for Tampa Bay throughout the majority of the game. But that whip route from T.T. Tolliver, he's the one with the quickness and the route running ability to be effective in that quick motion.
Trips left, wide zoom, 10 wedge on sound.
Now Jason Boltis has already rushed one in from the 1-yard line. He's got Jamarcus Hardrick behind him. And I think the field mics told the story there.
Nothing need be said.
outside.
Jeremy Schonbrunner picking himself up off the turf along with Sykes.
3-9-1. If they stay on the outside, we read the front.
Here we go. Left 30. 3-9-1 already. Watch it. 3-9-1. Hey, over here. Return.
Lawrence Samuels, Jason Boltis, and the Tampa Bay Storm looking for win number 5 on the season. And miscommunication with Gregory there. A flag flies from behind the play.
Hey, listen. Hey, we were 1 second, so I didn't know where we were at.
Automatic first down.
It's against Greg Reed.
What is this bitch? You got it. Let's go.
This ball sails. They tried to send Gregory up the boards.
And Tampa Bay's about half a football away. Let's see if Boltis takes it himself. He does, but first a whistle.
False start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Tyler Moore with the false start.
Hey, they were yelling. They yelled the snap count. It's bullshit. Got called it.
Line up wide. Let's go, Julius. 9-1-1.
Tyler Moore flinching at the snap.
Go ahead, you go to the wall. We're going 9-1-1. I-1 ready, 30. Left.
So backed up to the 5 now on 1st and goal. Boltis will have to take the QB sneak out of his arsenal as he brings Gregory in motion. And another pre-snap penalty. Greg Reed made a one-handed interception, but it won't count.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 56. Calling out the snap count. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Jerry Turner, and I think you heard members of the Tampa Bay Storm offense mentioning that to our crew before that snap.
Well, they alerted the umpire, Rick Lowe, to it. So he's in there listening.
Right here. No. Let's go. Return. What's the mark? Return.
Go.
He may have been able to pick it up there. Number 56, Jerry Turner, the nose over the football. Another 1st and goal play. And Boltis did well to get it away before he was planted by Pierre Turner. The loudest QB contact of the night for either team.
Turner, from his MAC position, starts downhill, and once he sees Boltis start to leave the pocket, that's where he can become an outside rusher because the quarterback declares out of the box.
Let's go option 3 now.
Hey, come on, do this. Here we go. 6 left, option 3-9. I'm ready, 50. Come on, we go.
So option route coming. We'll see the 9 route on the go up the boards with an outbreak as well.
Hey, man.
Defense number 16. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Seen pre-snap penalties pretty much every way imaginable since we got into a 1st and goal situation with the Storm. Samuels and Boltis looking for their largest lead of the night. But these last few snaps have been tough.
We're working here inside the 10-yard line. I mean, we talk about it constantly, JB. The space available here in the red zone, so difficult for the offense to operate.
This time it's Ings. We'll have to wait. The officials go over to check. Incomplete.
And there Ings getting up, kind of working over that shoulder, limbering up a bit. It's another one. Taking the receiver over the boards. It's worth reminding people yet again, he missed a game last week with a rib injury. Still the willingness to throw his body into and over the wall.
Almost became some Qdoba guacamole right there.
Sounds good.
Sets up 3rd and goal. The snap comes at 2. Lofted ball this time. Some hand fighting, but no flag. Chris Smith wins that one. It will not be an interception, but it will set up 4th down, and Boltis crushed again.
Jason Boltis has been beat up throughout this season.
Complete pass. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 56. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down.
Here the ball bounces off of a cameraman in the back of the end zone, so Smith grabs it, starts to take off, and then from there, Jerry Turner's thinking, okay, it's time to block the quarterback. We're on offense. It's a big hit, big block on Boltis. There's not the refined level of protection on the QB in the Arena Football League as is emphasized at the level it is in the NFL, but certainly the right call there from the official, especially because the play had been blown dead.
So instead of 4th down and goal, it's a new set of downs from the 3. The second penalty on Jerry Turner of this sequence. Boltis this time handing off. Hardrick, nothing doing. Yoshi Hardrick, who's in his 2nd season out of Nebraska.
This is an area of the field where when you don't have Chris Jamison, who was one of their more athletic fullbacks, they have the option of bringing in Dexter Jackson, which they haven't done up to this point in the game. But if you're not going to run with Jason Boltis, you need to find that receiver you have the confidence in. They attempted to go to Julius Gregory multiple times on the 9 route, attempting to give him a shot at the fade. They just haven't been able to complete those.
So after 98 points in our first half, a scoreless 3rd quarter, just like everyone predicted. Boltis trying to change that. Intercepted. This time it's good by Chris Smith. And he will stay in the end zone for a touchback.
Guys, just like we talked about earlier, inside the red zone, it's imperative you have to have someone who takes it upon themselves to get open. In that case, unfortunately, they didn't do it.
Chris Smith was the defensive back that got the job done. The ability to invade the personal space of wide receivers, leading to takeaways.
Look at the historic and always entertaining neighborhood of Ybor City here in the Tampa Bay area. The Storm with a 56-42 lead on Jacksonville with just 1:40 left in the 3rd quarter. The NBA Finals continue on Sunday. Game 5 on ABC. The series heading back to Oakland. Golden State and the Warriors. They've leveled the series at 2 apiece. LeBron James and the Cavs recharge. It's Game 5. Tip-off on ABC 7:30. Cavs and Warriors coming your way after the pregame show.
They're going to try to recharge. I mean, they're essentially playing with like 6.5 players for the Cavaliers. I really thought there was a shot if Cleveland ended it in 5. It's one of the few hits that Tommy Grady's really taken during the game.
LeBron James stitched up, ready for Game 5. Andre Iguodala had a huge Game 4 to help the Warriors' cause. Here's Grady drawing it back, and he has Harvey. First down at the Tampa Bay 15.
Jerron Harvey is built like a point forward, 6'5", 220 pounds. This Jacksonville native. Went with the double move. He sort of lopes out of his motion initially, and then Tommy Grady uses his eyes to manipulate the Jack linebacker Rick J. Hill in the box and drops the teardrop to Harvey. Well executed.
Inside 20 seconds, 3rd quarter. Down the line to Harvey. Breaks it up the boards inside the 10-yard line. So final seconds of the 3rd quarter, draining away after a gain of 7. Wow. Did we just have a scoreless 3rd period?
7-minute and 23-second drive on the previous series from the Tampa Bay Storm. Came away with no points, JB.
The Storm maintain their 56-42 lead, looking to knock off the Sharks for the 2nd time this season. Back to Amalie Arena after this. Welcome back to the AFL on ESPN. The story here in Tampa Bay, the Storm put up a franchise record 56 first half points, and then the 3rd quarter, nada. Look at these 3rd quarter stats, Anthony Herron.
Do they exist? There were no points on the board. That's really the most important number. right at the top. Goose egg on both sides. I don't think I've seen that all season. She looks disappointed.
7 penalties between the two teams. And the interception thrown by Boltis gives Jacksonville an opportunity as we begin the 4th. Tim Shelley had a hand on it. He was also doing a good job against Joe Hills. 3rd down and 4.
It's been quality red zone defense.
It looks like a late flag, and a penalty will go against Shelley. And it'll give the Sharks a new set of downs.
Well, offensively, Tampa Bay has been number 9 in the Arena Football League in the red zone this season. But defensively, they've been at the top.
Best red zone D in the AFL, allowing scores on fewer than 70% of possessions. And it'll take another snap at least for the Sharks as Nick Addison was draped all over Hills.
Guys, back to what we talked about. I can't say it enough. In the red zone, these are the moments where as a receiver you have to thrive in this position. You've got to be willing to go to do whatever it takes. There's got to be some type of isolation route to where it's you against him and somebody has to win. You can't afford to stall on possessions like this, especially in the Arena Football League. You have to punch the ball in the end zone in the red zone. Let's see what they've got dialed up. It looks like it's Tiger territory.
Easier said than done against those AFL ranks from the Tampa Bay defense. Grady, another shot here. Lofted ball. Broken up by Shelley. Boy, they love the 6'4" frame of Joe Hills, but Tampa Bay was ready.
And we can remember the point that Les Moss made to us that Tommy Grady has still had to get used to having a weapon in the backfield like Derrick Ross to be able to hand the football off to, especially here inside the 5 or even his tight end. Mokeet Ruffins, Cornelius Lewis, either guy at the tight end position. Let's see if he goes to one of his big guys to become a weapon here inside the 5.
A must-score drive for Jacksonville. The Tampa Bay crowd as loud as it's been here in the second half. Time to throw. Hills again. Shelley again. What a matchup along the goal line. Fourth and goal upcoming.
To be able to follow him all the way across the end zone. Hills initially wins the matchup, but Shelley with the makeup speed to close the window. He's the player that Lawrence Samuel says sets the physical tone in his secondary.
Storm got a stop on downs to begin the 3rd quarter. Can they do it again in the 4th? Grady has to find 7 here. Extends the play, throws it up. This time Hills brings it down. A clutch 4-yard touchdown for the Sharks. Even a few front row Tampa Bay fans had to give it up for Grady there.
And Tommy Grady, not known as a quarterback, it's going to be mobile enough to buy much time, but he's athletic for his frame. You think about him being 6'7".
Missed PAT, and at this stage of the game, that was critical. So a handful of touchdowns for Joe Hills, the Tampa Bay native back in his hometown against his former team. Having a career night. .49 left in Tampa Bay, and we've got a game. 56-48, Storm in front. Coverage of the Arena Football League continues next weekend on ESPN2. Next Saturday at 11 o'clock, the LA Kiss play host to the Soul. Then next Sunday at 10, the Spokane Shock and the Portland Thunder. Both games available on ESPN2 and your Watch ESPN app. Ings has it go through his hands. And so Jason Boltis, who just threw an interception for the 7th consecutive game to give Jacksonville a window of opportunity, will begin a very important drive here in the 4th.
And now a different type of pressure on this Tampa Bay offense after being held scoreless in the 3rd quarter. Now Jason Boltis takes the field with a 1-score lead.
15 of 23, 192. 5 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground, but that interception right now has kept the Sharks in it.
2 out of 7 completions in the third quarter for Boltis after such a hot first half.
From his own 5. Complete at the 10. Julius Gregory put it on the turf, able to pounce on it and maintain possession.
Lawrence Samuels getting after Julius Gregory, and rightfully so.
Guys, that's the first time I've seen that from Samuels. You know, all of his playing years, you never saw that side. But now that he's on the coaching side, he got that fire, boy. He was not happy about that.
He knows how badly this franchise needs this win. Can wrap up the tiebreaker against Jacksonville, right now the first place team in the division. There's a first down catch for T.T. Tolliver. Give him 7 on the grab.
Extremely quiet night for T.T. Tolliver. One of the leading receivers in the AFL coming into tonight's game. One of the all-time greats. Been quiet in this game.
Let's go 7. Let's go extra 5. 7-0-1.
Here we go. Let's go left. Extra 5. 0-7-1 on 2. 50-50 on 2. Taco.
And Tolliver shaken up earlier in this first half. You see his numbers on the night. 3 catches, 1 for a touchdown.
Corner route will be available.
Boltis trying to buy time for it. Over the jack linebacker and caught by Emery Simmons. A 16-yard gain and a first down for Boltis.
T.T. Tolliver was open on the 7 route, but Jason Boltis gets chased out of the pocket by Scooter Berry. Berry was the previous single-season sack record holder for the Jacksonville Sharks franchise, and there, as Tolliver worked towards the corner, he broke open. And Boltis couldn't get to him because he was on the run.
Go. Son.
Salmon's the motion man. The throw goes down the line to Gregory, and not much there. Give him 2 yards on first down. Clock continues to roll. They'll get it down inside of 9 minutes here in our fourth quarter.
All right, let's go sail 0-2.
Here we go. Trips right. X zoom. Sail 0-1 already. 30.
The sail route will have a similar look to it to the combination that Boltis just missed on the previous snap.
It's Ings who runs it. Instead of cross, Salmons makes the catch and is pulled down by his face mask. Chris Smith with a dangerous play defensively for the Sharks. 8 yards before the penalty.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 15. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Smith, an extremely talented defensive back. It's a big part of the reason why Larache Jackson's out of the lineup tonight. See here, you could tell he was going to overrun the play. He was reaching for the football. Gets a full hand of Emery Salmon's face mask. Dangerous play there. Smith was in the NFL with the St. Louis Rams.
Well, inside the 5, this has been Tampa Bay's go-to play. Let Boltis push with Hardrick behind him. Jerry Turner has seen it enough times tonight to go around the back door and pull Boltis out by his leg.
He knows all those blue jerseys are continuing to try to move the pile, so instead of fighting them, he just decides to grab Boltis by the leg and drag him back. Crafty.
The scoreboard and the clock right now in Boltis' favor. Inside of 8 minutes to go. Looking to extend it back to a 2-score lead to number 2 over the boards and incompletes. And Julius Gregory pops back up.
As he has continued to do throughout the first half. Flying over the wall, had an opportunity to bring it in cleanly, juggled the catch, and then we saw Reed come in with the extra deflection as well. It's an opportunity there with the high point, but Reed able to pull down that right arm.
Here comes third down and goal as we approach the 7-minute mark. Boltis, intercepted! Alvin Ray Jackson has given the Sharks a chance. Two second-half trips to the red zone for Boltis and the Tampa Bay Storm. Both times the Sharks have come away with interceptions. Grady and the Jacksonville offense will have a chance to tie it when we come back. Alvin Ray Jackson on your left, Lawrence Samuels on your right. Anthony Hare and the Storm are hoping for a penalty on that interception.
Well, that frustrated look on the face of Lawrence Samuels is because, let's say that's roughly 5 yards deep. The Jack linebacker, Alvin Ray Jackson, not allowed to drop deeper than that until the ball leaves the hands of the quarterback. Jackson gets into that depth. Just as Boltis begins his throwing motion, he drops deeper. It's really a bang-bang sort of situation. The umpire would normally be there, but once the ball gets inside the 5, umpire moves behind the ball, and so it's a judgment call on the depth of the Jack.
Brady on first down, finds Harvey. Maybe 7 to gain. The Sharks have the only touchdown of the second half. They missed the extra point, though, so they trail 56-48. They need to score on a 2-point conversion.
Second consecutive stop from that Sharks defense. Coming up huge when necessary.
Second down and 3. Grady over the middle. Near side boards. There's Tiger Jones. Tampa Bay and Jacksonville combined for 98 points in the first half, Anthony. That's the second highest total and a half in AFL history. How is it possible that we've only seen a touchdown here in the second?
The quarterback play has taken a step back, in my opinion, but part of that is the play of the defensive secondary from both teams, because honestly, neither pass rush has made a big imprint on this game. Jacksonville's the one I had high expectations for coming in.
The offense leaning on Tiger Jones here. He makes another catch. The 15-yard line. 6-yard pickup leaves second down and 4.
Down here at field level, guys, though, I certainly sense those 2 turnovers in the red zone has taken a little bit out of Tampa Bay defensively. They're still fighting, they're still struggling out here, but I just sense a little bit of the energy is gone that they didn't play with, that they were playing with in the first half.
Our Hall of Famer, Randy Gatewood, down on the field. Here comes the motion man, Joe Hills. He makes the catch, shoved up against the boards by Al Phillips. 6-yard gain for the Sharks.
So now the wide receiver core for Jacksonville, more experienced operating here in the red zone. So Tiger Jones, while he's not an imposing physical specimen, but he's experienced with creating space in the red zone. We certainly know the size that's available between Joe Hills and Jerron Harvey.
They're back in this bunch formation that presented some problems for them earlier. Let's see.
First and goal, they throw down the line. Jones reaching for the 3-yard line.
Guys, what do you think? Are we going to see Derrick Ross? He's such a weapon down here, and now we're on the 2-yard line. What are we thinking?
I think by formation, you can do actually a similar concept to what we just saw. Wide receivers blocking, but here maybe a crack toss.
I'm going out and back up. And let's go out.
Here Tommy Grady after they break the huddle, talking Joe Hills through the route combination.
He breaks out, the throw comes in, and it's jarred loose. Incomplete. Al Phillips thought he had the pick.
Wow, what a play.
Brady lives to see another day.
Now remember, in the Arena Football League, only necessary to have 1 foot in bounds. Harvey doesn't catch it cleanly. Ball deflected, bounces up into the air. Phillips, did he have possession before? It's a close one.
And the red challenge flag is on the field. Remember, the Storm successfully challenged an onside kick in the first half. If they get this challenge correct, they'll earn another. Boy, that right foot was in, and the left foot was out.
Challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. The previous play is under further review.
It's just going to be a matter of whether Adam Savoie judges when possession was attained. So 2 challenges for each team per game. You must have a timeout remaining for the challenge, which both teams still have their full complement of timeouts. And we'll listen in as Adam talks with our production crew.
All right, Scott, the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Yes, sir. All right. I see the ball loose. He secures possession there. All right. The defensive back only needs 1 foot inbounds after he gains possession of the ball. He does not have possession there. He's still bobbling. Run it through. He gains possession there and his left foot's out of bounds. We're going to confirm the call on the field, and Tampa will be charged with their first timeout. Thank you.
Credit the crew on the field with making the correct call, and that replay was exactly the kind of access that we love to bring you here, the AFL on ESPN.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It will be 3rd down, Jacksonville ball. Tampa is charged with their first timeout and their first challenge.
Adam Savoy with that one with confidence. It was obviously a very difficult grab from Alfred Phillips. If he was able to, off of that 3rd bobble, to catch it cleanly as opposed to tipping it up to himself, his right foot was still in bounds, but very difficult play for him to make.
He delivered the hit that kept it from being a touchdown and sets up 3rd down and goal with 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining.
Adam Savoy still conferencing with the officiating team. I was looking for another reason to say Adam Savoy.
The Sharks are disputing the down.
At 3:22 on the game clock, 4th down.
Should be 3rd.
Remember, they went short to Tiger Jones on 1st down, then that incompletion on 2nd down. Tommy Grady's trying to talk his way into an extra snap.
So Adam Savoy will come and have our truck with the replay confirm for him the actual down and distance, just to make 100% sure.
Remember, Randy Gatewood asked the question after that 1st down short pass play whether it might be Derek Ross time. Instead,
Hey guys, can you get
Brady opted to keep it in the air?
the last play? We need to check the clock and the down. Can you give me the previous play at the beginning? All right. Thank you. Can you give me the wide angle with the clocks? Let the play run, please. Can you give me the line feed with the score at the bottom? Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Incomplete pass occurred on 2nd down. It will be 3rd down.
Does not look like they've made the clock adjustment, though, as for the moment it remains at 3:22. Could cost Les Miles some time. Sharks scored the only touchdown of the half on 4th and goal last time at this end. Facing 3rd and goal here, another conference from our crew.
With 3:22 on the game clock, clock will start on the snap.
And Dexter Jackson in position, awaiting this drive to restart from the 3-yard line. The point Randy Gatewood made before that review process ensued, I couldn't agree more. I do think this is Derrick Ross territory. The passing game has struggled here in the red zone. Give it to the baddest battering ram in the AFL.
Absolutely. First time we've seen trips into the boundary.
Hill circles around to the field side. They do have him isolated, and it goes through his hands. The Sharks face another 4th and goal.
This is where the coaching staff, and Brian Ferguson's downstairs, Les Moss is upstairs, where I think you step in and remind Tommy Grady. Now on 4th down, they're not likely to run the ball, but in these situations where Tommy Grady calls his own plays, it's where they should step in and remind him what he has available to him in the backfield.
One conversion on 2 4th down attempts tonight for Grady and the Sharks. Game on the line right here. For the 6th time tonight, and now Jacksonville needs a 2-point.
I think Joe Hills might have got away with a little Randy Gatewood here in the end zone as he comes in motion. He's able to create space on Nick Addison, whips around right there, and while he extends the arm, I really think the execution of the route was what got him open, especially upon review, being able to see that replay.
Absolutely. We like to call that big body, Anthony.
2-minute mark. They need a 2-point conversion to tie. And they've got it. 56 up, a new ball game in Tampa with 1:55 remaining.
Well, Jason Boltes is the quarterback that I talked about with the athletic ability, but Tommy Grady has been the signal caller to continually move the pocket, working to find a window to deliver the football to receivers.
2 second-half interceptions picked up by the Sharks defense, allowing Grady and the offense to tie it at 56. With a half-dozen touchdown catches on the night, Joe Hills has rallied the Sharks 56-all with 1:55 remaining. A season-high 6 touchdown grabs. Meanwhile, the Storm have gone 28 minutes without a second-half score. They'll get the football back here, and we can only hope that Ari Wolfstead Bonner and Steve Pappin standing by in Spokane with Game 2 of our nationally televised doubleheader between the Las Vegas Outlaws and the Spokane Shock. Have a compelling contest as well. That's coming up at the top of the hour. Here in Tampa Bay, 1:55 left, and the Storm looking for their 2nd win of the season over the Jacksonville Sharks. Kendrick Ings has already brought one back for a score tonight. He's also covered a muff kick in the end zone for a touchdown. He's anticipating the onside here as he creeps to the line. A good one, popped up, and Gregory rising for possession.
Gregory has displayed this willingness throughout the night, and most especially in recent weeks, to put his body on the line. The 230-pound rookie out of Shaw has had a big night.
Now can the Storm convert? The clock will run down to the 1 minute mark. Jason Boltes has accounted for 6 Tampa Bay touchdowns, but he's thrown 2 crucial interceptions here in the second half. Sends Tolliver in motion. And from his knees, Emery Sammons makes the catch and then is drilled by Alvin Ray Jackson, who had the 2nd of those 2 interceptions. Just 3 on first down for the Storm.
And no need for Tampa Bay to be in any sort of hurry. And after scoring 56 points in the first half and still at this point being held scoreless, they may as well try to run the clock down, be the last team with the football, either a touchdown, a field goal opportunity to attempt to win it.
We've hit the 1-minute warning. Tampa Bay had 56 points at halftime. They're still stuck on 56. Can they retake the lead here at Amalie Arena? The Jacksonville Sharks trailed by 2 scores at the half. After a scoreless third quarter, their comeback began in the fourth. Tommy Grady to Joe Hills. The two would combine again for the potential tying touchdown, and then a 2-point conversion has brought the Sharks all the way back to a tie game at 56 apiece, with the Tampa Bay Storm looking to extend their 5-game winning streak. And back to live action at the 1-minute mark. Jason Boltis and the Storm have the football.
No. Hey,
Stay on the wall. Throw it to the wall.
Well, Jacksonville looking to avenge their loss in Week 6. They've already taken care of New Orleans, Orlando, and Philadelphia, teams that had beat them to begin the year, part of their 1-5 starts. They are now one of the hottest teams in the Arena Football League. Second down and goal for Boltis and the Storm. Looking left all the way, and he's got T.T. Tolliver. 38 years young for the go-ahead score.
That's a big completion for Jason Boltis. It certainly doesn't solidify anything for the game with 56 seconds remaining in the final minute of an arena football contest. But when you've gone 8 out of 15 and held scoreless in the second half up to that moment, it at least provides a bit of an exhale for this Storm offense.
Seen the Sharks miss an extra point. Greg Peterson secures the touchdown, 7-point lead. Well, you alluded to it, Anthony. That's not necessarily the worst result for Jacksonville there, to concede that touchdown and take over with 56 remaining.
The question will be, I don't think we'll see an onside kick from Tampa Bay. As crazy as it is, if there were more offense in this second half, it would be worth considering for Tampa Bay to kick an onside kick with this much time remaining. But because both teams' defenses have played so well in this half, I anticipate Lawrence Samuels electing to kick it deep and put his defense on the field with an opportunity to win it.
Pretty gutsy throw there by Jason Boltis to fit it in, having thrown red zone interceptions on their last 2 trips.
A talented young quarterback. He's been around the block in the AFL. Utah Blaze, Orlando Predators, now the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Storm this season. But these are the moments we haven't seen Jason Boltis come through consistently. We've seen first halves with big numbers, even 3 quarters where he looked spotless. And then for some reason, it doesn't always finish in the way that you prefer for his offense. Opportunity for him to come up with a huge victory tonight.
See what Tampa Bay has done against Jacksonville and Orlando. Kind of the line score there throughout this series against their 2 in-state rivals in South Division. Greg Reed, the rookie kick returner, has been tested thoroughly tonight. Breaks across that line and stopped at the 3. The near side official slow to blow his whistle as he too was knocked to the turf.
Give him a pass on that one.
But these seconds are precious for the Jacksonville offense as they look for the tying touchdown.
Greg Reed is going to have to learn a hard lesson at some point. He steps out of the end zone and then steps back in. Not able to field it cleanly yet again. At least he does catch it off the bounce. Just barely wrestles his way back out to not have the safety.
The Sharks have 50 seconds to go 46 yards. Grady looking Hill's way. He came back to the football. Tim Shelley in coverage. Grady wanted a flag.
Let's go. Let's go. On two. Don't jump. Let's go. Kick foot, Z back. Let's go. 50, short storm. 51, short storm. Z back. On two.
On two, don't jump was the call from Grady.
A short storm. You see a levels concept coming to the field side.
Storm stay on side. Tiger Jones reaching out to make the catch, using the hands beautifully. Clock stops at 41 seconds. First down, Sharks.
Tiger Jones, a couple of the most reliable hands in the AFL. Strong hands there as Alfred Phillips came in trying to rip it away.
How many timeouts we got? How many timeouts? Got 3. Let's go. Kick foot, Z back. Let's go. 31 hit. Come on. Hurry up.
3 timeouts left for Tommy Grady to answer the question he asked from his own huddle. First down, throw again to Jones, right at midfield before he's dropped. A gain of 7.
So you draw the comparison between these two quarterbacks right now. Grady repeatedly attempted to call timeout. Somehow Adam Savoy didn't see it.
They'll have 2 remaining.
But to juxtapose what we're seeing, and Boltis, not a rookie QB. As we mentioned, he's been around the block a bit here. But Tommy Grady calling his own plays, managing these game situations with a more singular focus. And Boltis having the advent of Lawrence Samuels, his head coach, also being his play caller.
A reminder that the NBA Finals continue Sunday with Game 5 on ABC. Golden State and Cleveland NBA countdown tips things off at 7:30. Then it's Cavs Warriors. Game 5, 8 o'clock Eastern, Sunday on ABC. At Emily Arena here in Tampa tonight, 26 seconds remaining in regulation. Tommy Grady and the Sharks looking to extend their 5-game winning streak. Tiger Jones has been his favorite target on this drive, just beyond his grasp. 21 remaining on the 4th quarter clock.
Dexter Jackson was slow to get up there in the MAC position. Another cut block there delivered in the middle of the protection from Derrick Ross. There's a defender.
Hey, don't look so deep. Just get over. Let's go. Kick right. Z back. Let's go. 50 short storm. Z over on.
Jacksonville needs 4 on 3rd down. They need to hit the Tampa Bay 22-yard line. Tiger Jones in motion. Grady going for it all. It's Jones. And he hangs on. No! Cried out at the last moments. Al Phillips.
Lawrence Samuels told us that he trusts Al Phillips in man-to-man coverage at a level beyond any other defensive back in his secondary. Tiger Jones stumbles out of his break, still able to accelerate and get to the football, but Phillips ripped it away at the last moment. The fight for that football between these two players.
Timeout. Jacksonville, their second. 30 seconds.
And just as a reminder, in the final minute of the game here, same way at the end of the first half, you can't challenge from the coaching perspective. Any review would have to come from the official, Buddy Ward, the supervisor of officials down at field level.
Might that timeout from Jacksonville suggest that they would like the crew to take another look?
I think as much as anything, it's giving Tommy Grady a chance to collect his thoughts.
They got the first down here, okay? You're ready to call timeout, right?
Message from Brian Ferguson there. They need a fresh set of downs before they can go for the potential tying touchdown. Al Phillips has been exceptional for Tampa Bay. Jacksonville looking for its 3rd 4th down conversion of the night. Have to have it. They need 4. Joe Hill jarred loose. Phillips the hero for the Storm.
Phillips was challenged repeatedly throughout this game. He's playing that middle defensive back position that's on an island throughout the contest. Tommy Grady attacks him one more time. Brian Ferguson, knowing that fourth down means this game is likely over.
And Jacksonville left with just one timeout. And Tampa Bay needs to burn 12 seconds. They need forward progress with the football to wrap up their second win over Jacksonville of the 2015 campaign and secure the season series. Boltis drops and he's sacked. 8 seconds left on the fourth quarter clock.
Just a sensational play from Jerry Turner. The clock stops here, and Jacksonville doesn't need to use a timeout because the defensive end, Turner, stems inside at the last second and then quickly penetrates into the backfield. So not only do they not gain yardage, they were going to try to drop back and float the football in the stands just to run some time off the clock, and Turner wouldn't let it happen.
Boltis wanted to go on 3 there. Both sides flinched.
Offside. Defense number 56. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
And Turner penalized this time.
And even the Jack linebacker, Alvin Ray Jackson, flinched that time. Gives you the impression that he was going to blitz the A-gap as well. The Jack, of course, not supposed to pass rush unless there is some sort of a run action that takes place bringing him downhill.
Boltis again dropping, trying to burn the clock. Lofted ball, intended for the second row, and he gets it there. And the clock never started. It goes from 8 seconds to 5 seconds. That play definitely took more than 3.
Certainly seemed to.
15, defensive back blitz. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Play clock running down, game clock never started. Jason Boltis floats it out of bounds. The intention of that offensively is to drop your QB back.
Hey, here we go, listen. Here we go. Let's go, 50, left, no motion, on one-on-one, ready?
The Tampa Bay Storm, the only team to beat Jacksonville since the month of April. Trying to close out a 63-56 victory. And this should do it. That's the final. Tampa Bay wins game 2 in the series against the Jacksonville Sharks. Their winning streak snapped at 5. Tampa Bay improving to 5-6 on the season, while the Sharks fall to 6-6. For Anthony Herron and Randy Gatewood, I'm JB Long. Thank you for watching the AFL on ESPN. Our producer tonight has been Scott Snyder. Our director, Mike Hassan. More arena football tonight from Spokane. Good night from Tampa and Amalie Arena.